Today we're going to be testing out Elastic Files service in AWS. First thing we're going to do is create a security group. I've just created this generic one. We're going to allow TCP and UDP 111 and 2049 in the VPC where your EC2 instances are going to be residing in. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so what I did is you select the NFS predefined rule, which automatically allows TCP 2049. And in the source, this I've set it to a /32, which is a single IP address for the one EC2 instance that I'll be testing in this video. In reality, you probably want to do a whole subnet or a range of EC2 instances that you'll be targeting to be able to talk to the EFS target. So anyways, let me just go ahead and finish off the rest of this. Okay, so that's all the ports added into the security group itself. Let's go ahead and create the security group. Once we have the security group, we're going to go ahead and attach it to our EC2 instance that we want to have the security group on there. And we're going to attach that role. Cool. We're now going to create our first file system on EFS. So let's go ahead and click that. You have to select the same VPC that you're going to be using for your EC2 instances. It assigns a default security group for your VPC, which you will not use. Instead, you'll want to have the one that you've created in the previous step, which is the one that we attached to the EC2 instance just a second ago. So I copied that from the security group section so we knew exactly which one it was, and I also tagged it to make it quite clear that that's the correct security group. In this case, we're going to go to the public subnet. That's where I have my EC2 instance for testing set up. It's only on AZA. So for testing purposes, I'm only going to create this file system on availability zone in A. But in reality, again, wherever your EC2 instances are going to be accessing this, it'll be A, B, or C, wherever it is, and security group will be attached to your instances for allowing NFS. Okay, and we'll just call this EFS. Okay, we're only creating it on here, and let's create the file system. Okay, the file system has now been created, and it's actually in progress. So I'll go ahead and pause it, and once it is complete, I'll get the target address. Okay, the EFS mount target has been created. It took roughly about 5 minutes to provision. It status, I just kept refreshing it in the lifecycle state. It's now available. And here's our DNS name. This is what we'll be connecting to from our NFS client within either Linux or Windows. I'm just inserting this now because after I did some testing, I found that you actually can't use Windows to connect to EFS because Windows doesn't support it, or should I say Amazon doesn't support it. This snippet here shows exactly why. It's just in regards to how it connects to shares and for denied permissions and how they open and close the connections to it. So yeah, it's not possible to connect to EFS with Windows. It's not supported as of the date of this, which is April 27th, 2017. There's been a lot of people requesting support for EFS connectivity from Windows-based clients. And Server 2016 and 2008 do not include version 4.1 compatible versions of an NFS client on them. There are third-party ones, but even those have the same kind of issue going around here. So perhaps there'll be a different client that you'll be able to install, and Amazon will be able to support connections from Windows clients, but at this time they don't. So only Linux-based clients are possible to use NFS with. In the video, I'll be putting the URLs for the pages from Amazon that give you some details on how to get the NFS client installed and all that jazz. So I've already go ahead and done a YAML update to my instance. So we're about to install the NFS utility to get it to connect. Okay, going to go ahead and install the NFS utils in step 3. Okay, it looks like it's already there, ready to go. So let's go ahead and do the next command. Okay, we got the command not found. The reason for that is because we're using the latest version of the Linux AMI, the Amazon Linux AMI, and if you have a look at this note, it's already included, so there's nothing to do there. So now it's just a matter of connecting. Okay, we're going to now cd into the mount directory, and we're going to make a directory called EFS. I suppose I have to cd that. There it is. Okay, back in the EFS page, we see the EC2 mount instructions. Again, this is stuff that we saw on the web page I had up a second ago. So here we made the directory, and here is my specific target DNS name, which is this one here. Yours will be different, so make sure you click on your own link and get your details from there. And let's go back. Okay, it's now been mounted, no errors. Okay, now that it's mounted, let's go ahead and check to make sure it actually worked. And here we see our target address, and it's mounted to /mnt EFS. So it's mounted the way we want. So we can start writing to it now, just like you would a local file system on the instance itself. Okay, so it's to the EFS directory, so let's go ahead and create a test file. And let's do that. Okay, so let's just verify the file is created. There it is. And let's go ahead and edit it. Okay, and let's go back into the file. And there's our data, so definitely confirming that works. Alright, so that's pretty much how to get it up and running. Next, we're going to do some metrics testing to see our performance for reading and writing data to our EFS shares. Okay, so I'm actually inserting this into the recording, so you'll see it jump. The reason being is there was a bit that was skipped, and that was when I tried to add in a persistent connection to the EFS target. I edited the FSTAB file and included a connection to the target there, but I actually didn't enter in the correct mount path. So yeah, the video will continue from that point. Okay, so after the reboot, it didn't work, and the reason for that is because I didn't enter in the mount path correctly into my FSTAB file. It's actually not just EFS, it's got to be /mnt/EFS. So let me just go ahead and show you that. And here we go. FSTAB. So that was the important part there, is to make sure that you have your mount path specified as it appears in your file system. So after doing that and restarting, I was indeed able to get it to automatically mount my data, as you can see here in the history. So I went to MNT, EFS, and I listed the files, and sure enough, there it is. So let me just show you that again. And there's my test file that I created earlier. So I'll give you a description link that AWS provides for this, and in there will be the details on what the syntax is meant to be. So again, that's the main target DNS name, and then the mount point that you see in your file system, and then the rest of it's pretty standard. That's NFS4 because that's what EFS is. So that was the key, is making sure that you have your mount point set correctly. And just another caveat is the DNS name for the target. It is availability zone dependent, so it's not going to be the same across different availability zones. You'll have a different one per availability zone. So if you have an instance that's currently got this in its FSTAB file, and you all of a sudden move it from one availability zone to another, or there's a DR event of some sort, disaster, you have to update the DNS target name to match the one for that availability zone when you go into EFS, and make sure that you have one separated between each of your AZs. Otherwise, you're going to end up with no connection to your EFS.